And there's William Clark Green with Rose Queen on Texas Homegrown Radio. How's it going, guys? My name is Quayde, and we're going to be kicking off the second episode of the Quayde Things podcast right now. And my guest this week, my good buddy, Mr. Austin Meade. What's cracking, dude?
Hello, sir. Not much, trying to stay cool. It is hot.
Yeah, dude, it's a hot mug out here today. I don't know, probably got mid-90s, like high 90s here, but dude, I was checking in with some of my Lubbock buddies. Got 112 over there today.
Oh yeah.
Screw that.
At least it's the dry heat in Lubbock. My parents are from South Texas, so anytime it hits above 90, it's just you're basically swimming through the air.
Ugh, I'm not bred for humidity, man. It just doesn't work that way. It gets too humid here for me. I gotta stay inside and be a pansy.
For sure.
Right on. But, super glad that you came in. Of course, you're playing City Limits here in Stephenville this evening.
Yeah.
And you brought your buddy with you.
Yeah.
Mr. Hayes.
This is Hayes. He's the road dog. He's been a part of the band now for, I guess, like 6 or 8 months. And he's chewing on his leash right now, so I keep him busy with leashes and bones.
Nice.
But, yeah, he basically just keeps the sound man in check while we check and then goes back in his cage while we play.
Right on.
Yeah.
You've been playing some pretty cool gigs here recently, man. What's probably one of the better ones that you've got to do here recently? Like, I don't know, just one you've enjoyed the most, I should say.
Well, we did a run at the end of March with The Departed. We got to go up to the Midwest. That was a really cool thing. I grew up listening to Quayde, Canada, and all that, and we've been playing a lot with them, the last couple of years, which has been awesome. Playing with a guy that you've been listening to since you were, in junior high. And he's still just badass as ever. But we went with them to Omaha, Nebraska, Iowa City, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Des Moines, and then we came home. So that was, I think it was 4 or 5 dates, something like that, and that was the most fun I've had in a long time. That was the furthest I've ever been from home as far as playing music. Right. And seriously, the crowds out there were just completely crazy compared to like what we're used to,
Mm-hmm.
So they come early and they show up at the front of the stage and they wait for you to play. It's not like here a lot of times when you're an opener, it's like, oh yeah, we'll come up and hear your last 4 or 5 songs, But they're, if doors open at 7, there's a line out the door at 6:30, and they're just waiting because they're just ready for music because they don't get it like we do down here.
Yeah, we're kind of spoiled down here in Texas.
Definitely are, and I can't complain because I can make a living, because of that here in Texas. And you can make a living in Texas just playing music if you want to, but we're not meant for that, I don't think, in what we do. And so it was really exciting to get out of the state. We've done more out-of-state stuff this year than we ever have before. So we've played a little less, like not as many shows, but a lot of those were, what we call gigs, anyways. So they weren't things that were a make or break career, point or show or anything. So yeah, it's been a fun year, dude. I guess it's June now, and we've done a lot of things in the first 6 months that I didn't think would be possible. I
can't believe the first 6 months are already gone, man. I'm still not sure I fought off my hangover from New Year's yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. New Year's. We were actually in Lubbock on New Year's. I remember that. We played that shopping mall. Charlie B's. It's huge. Dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did that with The Departed. Actually, it's funny.
You've got some more dates with Quayde coming up too, right?
Yeah, we're going to St. Louis with him. We're doing Off Broadway in St. Louis. I think at July 7th or something like that. So. Right
on. Yeah, I'm going to be headed up to Missouri next week. Going to be in Springfield with Randall King Band and Cody Johnson. So that's going to be a hell of a time.
This little
You're good. The dog has found something in the table he wants to eat, I guess.
Oh, I found it.
What is it?
A dirty napkin.
Oh, yeah. Nope. That's not going to be pretty coming out, bud. Trust me.
One time, one of the first weekends we had him, we played a show in Houston at Redneck Country Club with Uncle Lucius, and we got all these tacos for both bands, and we decided that we would be the ones to keep the tacos in our van, and the guys didn't put them in a bag or in a cage or anything or a box. They just left them in a paper bag. Ooh. So we came back and he had eaten like 7 tacos, including the foil.
That's impressive.
It was impressive coming out too.
Poor guy.
It's pretty terrible.
Dude, that is horrible. And of course, I saw you rolled up here just a little bit ago. You used to have a kick-ass green Dodge van that y'all rolled around in with, a cow skull on the front.
Yeah.
I dig your new rig, man. I'm really glad that you guys got to upgrade a little bit. But do you still have that skull anywhere?
I don't, actually. So, funny story about that skull. That goes back to Lubbock. I think it was a year and a half ago whenever we played a tailgate before we played Blue Light one night. And somebody asked us if we wanted this cow skull, and I was like, well, hell yeah, that's badass, brother. So we got some tie straps, tied it on. It was the last night the Crooks played at Blue Light. We opened up for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so we go hang out after the show. Show was awesome. It was great. We go hang out at Elegante, the MGM Elegante, which is the most non-elegant hotel in Lubbock. But so we're leaving the hotel at like 5 or 6 in the morning to go home, and we totally broke a ball joint while we were driving. And so we think that is because of the bad luck of the cow skull. But who's to say on that? Anyways, it made it home, and then I think I gave it to a friend or something because I was trying to pass on the bad voodoo.
Right. Just give it to somebody else. I don't want it no more.
Yeah. So that was the end of that, and then we sold that van and our trailer, and we got a newer one, which has been a blessing because I'm not underneath the hood of the van every single weekend trying to fix something.
Yeah, I remember the last time that you and I hung out or I don't think it was the last time you and I hung out, but I remember you'd come and played a show there in Lubbock, and I don't remember if you'd left something at Blue Light or what had happened. I don't remember, but I'd come see you the next day and you were getting new tires at the Firestone there by the mall.
Oh, that was.
Or was that the ball joint?
That was the ball joint.
That was the ball joint. Okay.
So, and we had just gotten the ball joint replaced 2 weeks before in Austin, and so it broke down. And okay, on top of that, so whenever we broke down, we were in a neighborhood, and it was like seriously 6 or something in the morning, so all these old people were getting ready to go to church on Sunday. And so the ball joint fell off and the tire turned sideways right in front of this old man's house. And we were out there for 30 minutes and trying to keep the guys under control.
Right.
I was the DD and everything, and just don't freak out, guys, we'll get you guys home, and so they're just sitting there being wild and oh God, how are we gonna fix this? This old man comes outside, and I thought he was gonna offer us waters or something or ask if we needed help.
Yeah.
The tow truck was already on the way, and he just walked outside and was tightening his tie and putting his pants in, tucked him in. And he was from me to 15 feet away, in front of the parking lot, because we were at the end of his driveway. And he walks about halfway down the driveway and just stared at us, and I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry, we're gonna be out of here soon." Didn't say a word to me, just tightened his tie. I walked back inside, closed all of his blinds that were open.
That's kind of eerie.
Yeah. And and then we got tow truck showed up, but he definitely didn't trust us for whatever reason.
Just a bunch of greasy, long-haired dudes in a van hanging out in front of your house.
Right? Looking down van. Yeah.
So speaking of, how are the dudes, man?
They're great, man. Shane is our guitar player. He got married at the beginning of May.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, they've been together for I want to say 8 years, so that was a long time coming on that one. Our bass player Brenton is what is he doing right now, man? He's doing a lot of bass stuff. He does some jazz projects, and he's got a side project that I actually play drums for right now, which is a lot of fun.
Nice. I didn't know you played drums.
Yeah, I try to. I'm not very good, but it depends on the day. But it's a lot of fun. It's loud and slow surf rock is what we call it.
Nice.
And then Brandon, our drummer, he is, I want to say he's doing tile work on the side.
Right on.
And then we do this as much as we can. So we've had a TM with us, Jimmy Heritage. He's been really awesome. He's been with us for about 8 months, and he's actually moving to LA to go work for a major production company.
Wow.
Which is, congratulations, but we will definitely miss him on the road.
Yeah, so anybody that catches this podcast, Austin Meade may be in need of a new tour manager here shortly.
Yeah,
Put in your applications at.
Yeah, he was doing tour management and helping us with merch a lot. He's a really good guy. So we definitely wish him the best of luck, and we hope that he comes back. Or we hope that we meet him on a national level someday.
That'd be awesome.
But you never know.
Have you ever been out to California?
I have not.
You're not missing much, man. I mean, the ocean's pretty cool, but I don't know what's different about everything over there, but
The prices of spirits are
the prices are stupid, but even the roads are more narrow. If you're when you're driving, the lanes are probably where they feel about 6 inches, shorter.
That's how Nacogdoches, Texas is. Every time we go play Bonita Creek out there, I feel like the car coming is going to hit us on the other side.
Right, especially if it's a dually. You're just like, I'm screwed. He's going to clip me.
Interesting, though. But yeah, the guys have been doing good, and we are going into the studio, I think, next month, the end of July or the beginning of August, to record a new record.
Nice. Where y'all recording at?
We don't know yet. We are going to be doing it, well, we haven't signed anything yet, but we know who we're going to be doing it with. It's, give context clues. It's the same guys that did Red Shahan's record.
Oh, rock and roll.
So yeah, it'll be, Red is awesome, and so we're not trying to go and be another Red at all.
Right.
Those guys have a really cool style, and I feel like we fit in with that. So we're going to be doing it with them, and we can either do it in Dallas or in Austin. We have a couple options, and we're just trying to figure out what works best for everybody's schedule and whatnot. So.
And you guys are out of Austin now, right?
Yep, I live in Schertz, which is just north of San Antonio.
How do you spell that?
Schertz.
Awesome. I was thinking like shirts. Like what's how many shirts do you have?
Yeah, it's got the Z on it. Sorry, he's
No, it's all good.
Everything.
I'm just, dude. I when I moved down here, I had to leave my dog. For those of y'all who don't know, yeah, I'm looking at the camera. Hi. For those of y'all who don't know, I've got a miniature schnauzer named Woodrow, and he is the best dude ever in my book. And of course, when I moved down here, where I'm staying at right now, I don't have a yard, and I'm not going to keep him in the house all day. That's just kind of cruel if you ask me. But it breaks my heart that I don't get to have him down here with me. So I'm probably going to be making a Lubbock trip here in a few weeks to just to go lay on the couch with the dog.
Definitely. So being a dog dad has changed my life because I have so many more responsibilities now, and I feel like I'm always watching to see what he's getting into all the time.
Right.
We usually take him on the road. Every now and then we'll leave him at home, just depending on what's going on. But as you can see, he's super interested in like everything that he sees.
He's a curious dude.
Well, he's not even a year old yet.
Really?
So he's still a puppy.
Dude, he's super well behaved for not even a year old.
Well, yeah, he's gotten a few whoopings in his day.
Oh,
so.
well, I mean,
he deserves them.
I was about to say, I can be completely honest and say I deserved about 90% of every ass whipping I ever received.
Yeah, well, I can't say that my parents necessarily did a whole lot of that to me, but I definitely believe parenting in a certain way. So I'm trying to have on a dog before I have a kid, I guess.
Yeah, dogs are great test kids. Or you can just be happy with dogs and never have children. That's kind of where I'm at.
I don't know. You can't really leave a kid in the kennel for a couple hours and go.
Well, I mean, you can, but they call the cops, and then they start calling you bad names, and then your pictures in the news, and it's just bad idea, man. Maybe
they're kind of famous.
Whatever. Yeah, not that kind of famous. So, but you said you've got a couple more dates coming up with Cody. Where at?
Yeah, well, we're going to that St. Louis thing like we were talking about.
Right.
And I don't know other than that yet. We've kind of got some spaces in the calendar right now to get ready for the studio, which is super exciting. I feel like we finally found the direction we want to go. First couple records were really schizophrenic, just because that's the way I think about one genre, and I'm really a huge fan of it, and then I go to something else, and I'm a really big fan of that. Mm-hmm. And so it's hard to just kind of nail down what we are, which is good. I don't want to sound.
Nobody needs to put themselves in a box,
But I feel like we finally kind of glued together and found a really good direction for this next record. So because of that, we've got some openings coming up, but it always fills up really fast. I freak out going into a month, and then all of a sudden it's packed. But we don't have a booking agent, so I'm doing it all myself. I've been doing it for almost over 3 years, I guess. The full band's been together for about 2.5 years or more. So put everything together from when I very first started booking shows. It's probably been nearly 4 years, and it's been a lot of doing it all on your own.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely have a lot of really great help along the way. But you'd be surprised how many emails you have to send out to get one response and things like that.
Oh, absolutely, man.
So, but it makes you appreciate it a lot more. I'll tell you that.
Heck yeah. Who all have you got to have open for you here recently, man?
We've been doing a lot of opening, honestly, for other guys, and that's what I enjoy the most because we're still building a crowd. Like last night we played in College Station with Parker.
Dude.
It was great. Yeah,
his birthday was a couple of days ago, too, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was talking about how he just turned 25. So.
Dude, 25 was a good year.
Yeah.
I liked 25.
Yeah.
26 kind of sucks so far, but we'll get there.
Yeah. I'm on 24 right now, so I don't know. We'll see. It's been a good couple of years so far. But yeah, we've been doing a lot of opening, and I really like that right now because we can get in front of some other crowds. But as far as openers, it kind of flips around a lot. I mean, We used to play. Now Cody West is blown up. We used
Dude.
to play Cody West, and now I'm pretty sure we'd be opening for him.
Dude, his new album is killer.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Green, isn't that the name of his new album? Green, I think.
So, or that's the title of his new single for sure.
Yeah, Cody West, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's awesome. And man, I'm trying to think who else has been opening. We're kind of doing co-headlines, man. I don't like the term opening because we're not big enough to be having people open for us right now.
Right.
But we're doing some co-headlines with Eric Willis, which is fun.
Dude, that boy's got some soul now.
He really does. And anytime we're up north, we open for him. But when he comes down south, we call it a co-headline, I guess. But I'm doing a Joe Ely show at the end of July, which will be a lot of fun.
Heck yeah.
Obviously opening that. And then we have one coming up in October. We're opening for Shenandoah, which will be fun.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude.
Roses, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like Black Hawk will come to Blue Light a couple of times a year.
Yeah,
and it's really cool to get to kick back and like watch Black Hawk play. And it's like, dude, I remember being it shows how old / not old we are, but it's like I remember being like still picking my nose like in public little, you know what I mean?
I still do that at 24 sometimes, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you at least kind of try to look the other
Dark
direction,
windows,
you know?
right.
Dude, dark windows for sure. But so you got to play some shows with Uncle Lucius here recently, man. What do you think? Dude, I dig their sound a lot. How was it like being, opening up for them and like just the vibe in the room and everything? Was it killer?
Yeah, their crowds are definitely diehard fans. So a lot in the same way as The Departed.
Mm-hmm.
Those are both kind of jam bands, for our particular scene.
Yeah.
Lack of a better term, they are jam bands, and so those people, they're not just your regular college kids that come to the bar, which I love those kids. It's awesome. But
Yeah.
Usually for like a Cody show, The Departed, or Uncle Lucius especially, man, it's diehards that'll drive 3 and 4 hours to come see them a lot of times, and they shut up a lot more than most crowds, and they're just there to listen.
Mm-hmm.
So you're free to kind of do what you want with a song. You don't feel like you have to just hammer through a 1 hour set. You can let it breathe and really extend some songs and some solos and things like that. So.
Well, heck yeah, man. Who, you were saying that you'd, been listening to a lot of different music and kind of, like you said, you'd find something and kind of get stuck on it for a while. What are you hung on right now?
Dude, I have been, what have I been listening to more recently? Pine Grove, Pinegrove. It's all one word. It's a band from up north. And,
like up north Texas or up North America?
Like from Maine.
Okay.
From Maine or something like that. They're really awesome. I always listen to a lot of Ryan Adams. I really like his new record.
Mm-hmm.
I like his older stuff too, but I'm really happy with Prisoner. And man, I don't know. I listen to a lot of Hayes Carl. Troy Cartwright has always been one of my favorites.
Dude, he's picking up right now, which I think is awesome because there's
Smart. He plays his own game. He doesn't fall into the regular trap. So I could learn a lot of us can learn a lot from Troy, but him, and then. I've always been a fan of Red Shahan.
Absolutely. Of course, Red's working on some new work right now, or a new album right now.
It's done. It's actually done.
Yeah, he hasn't given it to us yet.
Yeah.
Bastard, I want it.
Guys out of the scene that I listen to, man, I always go back to like older Kings of Leon stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a big fan of theirs, and I was a big fan of John Mayer's like middle stuff. So
yeah.
Some of his new stuff has been pretty cool. It's really interesting to see the way an artist, especially at that big of a national scale, how they change themselves and turn into different.
Like progress themselves,
Yeah, and it doesn't. It's not forever. It makes me remember that just because I put out a record, I don't have to be that record forever.
Yeah.
You just live in it for the life of the record, and then you move on, and you can totally recreate yourself if you'd like to. Ryan Adams is like the king of that, and John Mayer's done a lot of that too, if you ask me. But I also listen to a lot of Dolls. They are awesome. DAWES. It's like, I guess alt rock. I don't know what you would consider it, but if you're gonna look up a song, go look up "Roll with the Punches" by Dolls.
Okay.
They're awesome. And man, our guitar player Shane, he introduces me to a lot of new music. So pretty much anything that he tells me about, I go check out and at least look into it.
Heck yeah.
Pine Grove, Dolls, go check them out because I'm sure a lot of people probably aren't listening to them that are going to be watching this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, last week on the podcast, I had John Bauman. I actually had him here on the day that he released his new album, Proving Grounds. Have you got to check that out yet?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to get a link to that, and I went and checked it out. And he is one of the best songwriters around. I know everybody says that, but it's true, man.
I agree, man. I think he's, I really hate to use this word, but I think he's very underrated.
For sure, dude. I mean, you're talking about a guy who, he's played some huge shows. He's opened for Willie Nelson multiple times.
I know, man, and that's freaking killer. I got to talk with him about it last week, and he was like, "Man, we didn't get to like meet Willie, but to like share a stage with him was like mind-boggling." And I could only imagine, what it's like to just be like, "Okay, Willie is going to stand right where I'm standing in like 45 minutes." Like,
Well, I mean, you do things like that, and then I'm sure John still has nights that are very slow, and it's crazy to me that a guy that is that talented a songwriter, can kind of fly under the radar for a while. But everybody's time is coming, and I feel like it all. You see a lot of people blow up out of what seems like to be almost nowhere, and some of those guys have really only put out sometimes one CD or sometimes one EP, and then somehow they blow up.
Right.
And some people have been sitting in the wings, and you're wearing an American Aquarium shirt. How many records did those guys put out before they finally started selling out small rooms in Texas? Like
Dude,
10.
Actually, I think it was 6. Well, yeah, I think it was 6 albums when they released Burn, Flicker, Die, which is the one that turned their shit around. I believe that was their 6th album, and Wolves, I think, was their 7th.
Okay.
I believe. Of course, I got to go check out BJ Barham on Memorial Day, which was really cool. I got to see him at a winery in Roswell, New Mexico, and there was like 50 people in the room.
Yeah.
I had the table like square up front, and he kicked off with Unfortunate Kind, so I'm like sobbing the entire set from there on. It was pretty awesome, man. But I got to do an interview with him for Texas Homegrown Radio, and going to be releasing that on my podcast my podcast medium here pretty soon. It's just audio, though. It's not going to be cool like this where the people are going to get to see us,
See my dog just terrorizing my shit in the background.
Dude, this is going to be the best part. It's just, or not the best part, I shouldn't say that, but Hayes rolling around is going to be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Punk?
For sure. But, going back to John, though, that record is great, and I would definitely recommend it to any of my friends. It's different than what you're used to listening to, and it really does tell stories. So, he's a good dude. You can ask him about whenever we play golf. I feel like he's a better songwriter than me, but I can't hold my own by, quite a few strokes on him on the golf course.
There you go. Gotta one up them all somehow, right?
Yeah, right. No, he's a good dude, and he's really funny, man. He's a good guy.
Right on. And you said you're working on a new project. Are you able to divulge the possible title, or are you gonna kind of leave that ambiguous right now?
I've got a couple ideas. Whatever. I'll just say anything about it. I wrote a song called Growing Pains that's just kind of been about the last couple of years of my life, growing into responsibilities like this little guy rolling around, which was totally my fault. But
right.
I took some jobs that were full time. I just did music for like a year and a half, and then I picked up a job. I was working in a special ed unit in Canyon Lake, Texas.
Right on.
And that was a big responsibility changer for me. And so I wrote a tune sitting there in class one day. Honestly, I was on my lunch break. Just called Growing Pains. And so I think that may be the title track off the record. I feel like it's a pretty good representation within 2 words of what the last couple of years have been like. And I feel like a lot of people possibly feel the same way about their early 20s.
Oh, yeah.
You jump into the real world and then shit gets real fast. And,
right, your first 18 years are only a free trial.
Yeah, and then it's exciting though. You get to go try a lot of new things that you didn't get to try whenever you were still under your parents' wing.
Right.
But it is scary, and you have to just jump off the ledge a lot of times. So a lot of the songs are about that. There's some tunes on there that are about having good times in Lubbock.
Yeah.
And there's some songs on there that are just about growing up and finding new paths or relationships like usual. There's a lot about that, but there's a song in there called Lift Me Up that I'm really proud of, and I think it's my favorite song that we play live right now. But we've got some other ones that are I'm pretty pumped about too. And I always say that about new songs, but I feel like if you're actually enjoying what you do, then Will Green always told me, he's like, somebody always asks him, what's your favorite song that you've ever written? And his answer is always like,
the last one
that I wrote. So so it'll be about growing pains and that kind of thing, but at the same time I'm ready to put out some more like rock and roll shit. Basically, our last EP, there was some good stuff on there, but it wasn't really very heavy. There was like Written in Stone was kind of a heartbreaker, Ryan Adams type tune.
Mm-hmm.
And Feet on the Floor was kind of more of a country tune. There wasn't anything that was just punch you in the face rock and roll, really.
Mm-hmm.
Courage to Talk was the biggest rocker on there.
And that was that your first or second single off of that?
Born with a Broken Heart was the first single. Courage to Talk was the second single.
That's right.
So, yeah. And I don't know what we're going to do with the next one, dude. I don't really... we work with some really awesome people for radio, but I'm not sure what we're going to do with the next thing. I'm thinking about not worrying about the Texas thing and just going Americana.
Do it.
And seeing what happens. So...
Who you said you're doing a lot of radio work. Who is your radio promoter, or do you have one?
Yeah, right now we work with Dawn Gardine, and she is awesome. She is one of the hardest workers ever.
Mm-hmm.
She's really cool, and she's one of the few that you can call up and just kind of shoot the shit with for a couple hours.
Right on.
Or, not a couple hours, but seriously, every time I talk to Dawn, we at least talk for 30 minutes on the phone, just seeing what was going on with the week before and stuff. Not even about business, just about life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really cool to have that kind of a personal relationship with somebody that you work with in business.
Right.
So she's awesome, and I think that she works with some really awesome artists too. I think she does John's stuff actually.
Yeah, I think so too.
So yeah, dude. I don't know what we're gonna do with the next one. We may play it by ear and try some new out of the box tactics and do some more video stuff.
Heck yeah, man.
So I don't know. I'm testing. It's all a testing ground, and I'm trying to see what will work.
Right on. Of course, being in a traveling band, you travel a lot, which means that you're never really home for mealtime, man. So you get to check out a lot of cool, a bunch of different towns, but, of course, you can't always live off the dollar menu, man. You start to feel like crap after a while.
Yeah.
But what are some of the cooler places that you've gotten to eat, one of the better meals you've had recently on the road?
Honestly, I really like City Limits here in Stephenville. If I'm going to eat, and they feed us for free, which is even cooler.
Nice.
One of my favorites is down close to home by Green Hall. They feed you at a place called the Grist Mill.
Yes.
By Green Hall, and it is pretty awesome. We always get to go up to the third floor, and if you go up to the third floor, you can see over entire New Braunfels area.
Really?
You're so high up on a hill, yeah.
Do you have to be invited to the third floor, or can you just go up there?
No, I think you can just go. You can just go. They've never told us no.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. And then we had Tyler's Barbecue the other day in Amarillo.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people get barbecue, but that one was really good. I always like Heart 8 here in Stephenville.
Yeah, Heart 8's freaking awesome. The girl I'm dating now works there, so she brings me leftovers a lot.
Yeah. Oh, actually, we were in Lubbock and we had, was it Chu Chai?
Dude.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Chu Chai is epic.
So Charlie Stout took us there.
Awesome. Did Ton show you his dick?
No.
Okay, so the cook, Ton, the dude who works there,
Yeah.
he's got a big plush penis that he ties under his apron.
Oh
And so
my
he'll
God.
pull his apron up and he's got a string and it pulls this big limp plush penis.
Yeah.
It's great.
Luckily, we didn't see that.
It's funny more than anything. It's not literally his penis. He's
know.
not. I'm not trying to get Chu Chai in trouble here. It's a joke. It's a funny, but
Yeah, it was definitely good stuff, and it was way hotter than expected. Say that.
yeah, no, they don't make it white boy hot down there. They lay it on.
Yeah, which is good.
Yes, sir.
So, man, other than that, I don't know. We eat a lot of Chick-fil-A on the road.
Chick-fil-A is
The
good,
Christian chicken.
right? The
And
pickles never touch on the sandwich like God
Yeah.
intended. Something like, dude, I saw that as one of their advertising ploys once. I didn't. I laughed and then I felt really bad about laughing and
Yeah.
then I laughed some more. That was great.
Yeah. Dude, I really like home cooked meals. So here in Stephenville,
Mhm.
every now and then Uncle Bob will call us up and he'll let us eat spaghetti at his house on a
Nice.
rare occasion, and that is one of the best experiences because you get to sit at Uncle Bob's house and sit back and eat his awesome spaghetti and listen to Frank. Let's see, what did he play for? He played us a bunch of Grateful Dead records,
Of course.
and then he played a bunch of Zappa records for us.
Dude,
which are
Zappa's
just out there crazy.
I mean, other than the fact he looks just like Josh Serrato.
Okay, yeah. Well, Serrato looks just like him.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. Josh Serrato looks just like Frank Zappa. But, I've met Uncle Bob a couple of times. Have not had a chance to go out to his pad or really hang with him. I'm really kind of hoping for an invite one day.
He's one of the really good guys on the scene that always wants you to look at life in a positive way. I've had some really deep talks with him.
Mm-hmm.
Usually over some Larry Joe Taylor nights, or we had one on a New Year's Eve, I think 2 years ago, and it was actually at his house where we were listening to those records.
Nice.
And it's really cool to hear his stories, man. He's a storyteller, and
Mhm.
relate to a lot of people in different ways.
Heck yeah.
But you'll see him playing a tambourine at a lot of shows around here. I don't know if he's coming out tonight or not. But
Dude, I hope he does. I'm gonna make my way out there to catch you for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and you said who was it again? You said that you brought with you to open up.
Quayde Johnson. He's a songwriter from San Marcos, Austin area.
Mm-hmm.
So he's buddies with the band, and he's a pretty good songwriter. So
Very nice. Would you say he's kind of one of the up and comers to watch?
I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean he's getting ready to record an EP, and I don't know what route he's going with it. He's really tight with John Evans.
Okay.
And like the Hayes Carl crew and things like that. So I think he's going that direction, which is awesome. So we'll see what happens with the EP. He's definitely funny to be around. He likes to rage. So
awesome. Raging is important, obviously. But you know, who else do you think, or who do you think is kind of an up and comer to watch right now? You know, somebody that's may not have a band together yet, just kind of playing little ho hum shows, but that you see some light in.
I feel like Charlie Stout's been an up and comer for the last 35 years. I'm kidding with you, Charlie, but no, I really do love Charlie's songwriting.
Agreed.
And I think that he's gonna blow up sooner or later, and he's badass, man.
Dude, I hope he does. Charlie's one of my favorite human beings.
Yeah. Jordan Isaac Smith is pretty good. He's from Fort Worth.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a really great voice. I played with him pretty recently. And
he's the one who's got the Wanderers song, right?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I think he sounds a lot. I mean, I'm not comparing him to anybody, but vocally he sounds a lot like Shane Smith to me. Because when I was working with the Red Dirt Rebel, I had a couple of people call in and request Wanderers by Shane Smith. I'm like, that's not Shane Smith, man. But
they definitely look different.
I've never seen him, so I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen Shane, but I've never seen Jordan Isaacs.
Jordan's like
Dog, you can't keep biting my feet.
Yeah, once he starts playing, you gotta get him to quit.
It's all good.
He's wild, but yeah, Jordan. He has the build of he's a bodybuilder. I'm pretty sure the dude is massive. Like I would hire him for security any day.
Heck yeah.
He's too good of a songwriter to work security. So.
So right on. Of course, like you said, you live down in Austin. There's a lot of other, musicians and singer-songwriters that are in our scene, if you will, that live down that way. Is there anybody that you kick it with on the regular down there?
I shoot the shit with Bauman quite a bit. We keep running past each other, trying to get golf dates back together. But I see him a lot. I see Eric Middleton from Midnight River Choir a lot.
Nice.
Jordan York, he pokes his head in from time to time. He's really funny.
Okay.
And there's so many songwriters down there. I'm trying to think of who else. I mean, Austin Gillum's always down there. I see him a lot. Aaron Stevens. Everyone should stop what you're doing and listening to the same things that I'm saying. Go look up Aaron Stevens.
Aaron Stevens.
Aaron
Okay.
Stevens.
As
yeah. And it's Stevens like Stephens. Dude is one of the best guitar players around. Really kick ass on slide guitar, and he's very very soulful. It's definitely not country. It's like soul groove.
Right on.
So I see him a lot, and he plays like every Wednesday out at Billy's Ice. So it's one of those things that everybody always says, in a couple of years we're all going to be like, why didn't we go every single Wednesday to go see Aaron?
Right. And the lovely Lauren is bringing us some cold beverages.
Oh,
Thank you, hon.
Sorry if a dog tries to go for your shoes.
It's okay.
Right on. So, of course, living down in Austin, there's also a shitload of awesome food. What's kind of one of your go-to spots to eat when you're home?
Shoot, my own kitchen probably the most, to save money and to try to learn.
Right. You pretty solid cook, man. What's your dish?
Not if the band asks, but I cook a lot of tacos and a lot of chicken.
Nice.
And just I eat a lot healthier when I'm at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to stick to that. My girlfriend is a heck of a cook, so when she comes around, I make her make stir fry every time.
Nice.
Which is awesome. And I'm trying to think what else I eat. I eat a lot of Mexican food.
Nice.
I eat enchiladas on the regular.
Dude, stacked or rolled?
Rolled.
Right on. That's definitely a Tex-Mex thing, the rolled enchilada for sure.
And I really do like original, or authentic Mexican food. I'm from South Texas, but I really dig Chewy's Big as Your Face burritos.
Dude, Chewy's is awesome. And I'm a New Mexican, so I'm very okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm a freaking snob when it comes to Mexican food. I don't. Oh, whatever. I'm not really a massive fan of Tex-Mex. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't dislike it really, but I mean for me it's not the Mexican food I grew up on. But Chewy's, oh my god. dude.
Yeah,
They've got the build your own enchiladas or whatever, and I just go ham.
Yeah, and what is it? The
new
jalapeno dipping sauce.
Yeah.
Or the chips, whatever salsa. That's awesome, dude.
And of course they actually have real green chilies, and they ship them in from Hatch every season.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. As a New Mexican, to get good green chilies in Texas, freaking awesome.
We also had Cooper's across the street from Billy Bob's last week.
Cooper's barbecue.
Yeah, that was awesome. But as most musicians say, we get barbecue like every other week, so I try not to always get barbecue, but I'm a huge fan.
Dude, you can't go wrong with barbecue. You know,
sometimes if it's burnt, or microwaved, but
yeah, or dry or something like that. But just, I mean, if somebody's like, no, I don't want to eat barbecue, I'm gonna check your temperature, man. Are you sick? You feeling all right? How you doing? You good? You know?
Yeah. I'm sure we'll get hard 8. If not this time, then next time we're rolling through.
Right on. Of course, you guys are going to be rolling back home after the show tonight. Tomorrow is Father's Day. Of course, this episode will not air until after Father's Day. But you got any big plans with your pops?
Yeah, man. I don't know if they know if I'm coming down, but I'm gonna go show up for lunch. And my parents live in Victoria, so does my grandpa. And we're gonna go have lunch with all them, and then I guess we're gonna go fishing. So
right on.
We got some kayaks, and we're gonna go do it that way instead of out on the actual boat. See how it works.
Right on. So y'all be fishing on a lake or a river, or how's that gonna work?
We go down to Port O'Connor, so we go down to the bay.
Okay, so you're gonna be fishing on the ocean on a kayak?
Saltwater,
That's terrifying. That is absolutely terrifying.
You stay in the shallows, but sure, there could be barracudas or anything. I don't know.
Dude, I was watching some National Geographic Channel, Discovery Channel shit the other day, and this barracuda, I guess their teeth, like a couple of them stick out almost like boar's tusks or whatever. And this barracuda leaps out of the water going 30, 40 miles an hour and sideswipes this dude and just lays him the hell open, man. And it's I don't like the idea of that, man. I love to swim and things like that, but the more and more I read and watch on ocean life and shit, I'm terrified. I don't want nothing to do with that crap, man.
Yeah, I just had a conversation about barracudas this last week with Brian Kinsey. He's been the sound guy and has been tour managing for The Departed for a long time, I think over 15 years. But he actually is a certified diver. So I got to hear some awesome horror stories about barracudas popping up out of nowhere.
Yeah, because they're the fastest fish, them or the swordfish. One of the others, the fastest fish in the ocean. Either way, no, it's terrifying.
You can see a swordfish coming usually, though, not necessarily a barracuda.
Dude, if that thing can move faster than you in water, than you can move on land, just stay away from it.
Yeah.
Just don't even go close.
I'd still like to go diving down, and I live down by the rivers, and so I'd like to go down to the Guadalupe and the Comal and go down there and just clean that stuff up. I don't know if you've seen the recent bans, but they're now banning cans on the river because
as of August 15th or something like that.
Yeah, because it's just getting so nasty down there. So if this does air during the summer, which I'm sure it will, if any of my friends are going down to float, don't be the asshole who throws beer cans and gets drunk and just leaves trash on the river.
Yeah.
That's actually home for a lot of us down there. And so a lot of people come down there, and it's fun to rage. It really is. But
rage responsibly.
Yeah, and just put your trash and recycle that, man. It's not that hard. The can weighs nothing.
Yeah.
So, but I do see a lot of that down there. I know we got on the subject from diving and stuff, but that's been one of the things that I have noticed being down in the New Braunfels area is a lot of tourists come in, and the people who live there are very, very proud of how beautiful it is.
Right, and then of course the tourists come and get drunk and trash things.
Yeah, and a lot of them are respectful, but you always have your couple of your brohams, your Broby-1 Kenobis, whatever you want to call them, dude.
Broby-1 Kenobis, I dig.
And they come through, and a lot of them will be the ones that will get super hammered and then dump their cooler over and lose all their beer cans.
Yeah.
And then not go retrieve them. So.
No, we, I've been doing a little bit of little merch work for Randall King here recently. Actually going to be going on a run with him next week.
Nice.
But it was a couple of weeks ago I went on a run with him, and we played River Road Ice House.
Yeah.
There in awesome. New Braunfels, but we floated that day, and they gave us an inner tube with like a wood bottom or whatever that we could put our cooler in, and just for reference, if you just crush your can and put it next to your cooler in that inner tube, it doesn't go in the water. And the route that we went on or whatever, they had a bunch of I don't know, man. They were like aluminum boats, I guess, or whatever, like
Yeah.
tied up against the side on one area, and all these big signs like "Put your trash here, throw your trash away." And we'd pass by it 3 or 4 times. Every time we just like everybody'd sort through and like swim over there real quick and dump it and come back to the tube circle.
Yeah.
That's being responsible, folks. Do that. Don't just drop it in the water, because fish live there, man. How would you like it if fish just started throwing like seaweed all over where you live and it smelled like nastiness? No, don't do that to the fish.
All that water also goes back into our water supply, so
Yeah.
we're also drinking all the things that we throw, into the water. It
Yeah.
always comes back around.
Don't pee in the lake either, right?
I mean, I peed in the lake many a times, my friend, but that gets filtered out. And I mean, side note, just I know this is Discovery Channel here,
It's fine.
but urine is actually sterile. I'm pretty sure.
It is.
So,
It is sterile. It's
I'm
still
not
kind
saying
of
I would
gross.
drink lake water, but yeah.
Dude, okay, so you've been up around like the North Dallas area, Plano, Frisco.
Yeah.
There's a good buddy or mutual friend of ours, Mr. Dalton Domino. He lives up in that area. And back when I was his tour manager, I went and we were staying at, I think it was his mom's house. It was up in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And get down, you're gonna knock my beard over. We were staying there, and I went and I took a shower, and the second I turned the shower on, man, the entire bathroom just smelled like lake water. Do you know if they get their supply like through lake water? I mean, and they live in a good neighborhood. It's a beautiful, nice home. But I've been to a couple of places like that, like just where the tap water smells like lake water.
Well,
It's kind of gross.
My parents lived out in the country, or they still kind of live out there, but they used to live further out where they're on their own well, and a lot of the chemicals that they treat those wells with, such as they have sulfur in them and things like that. And I don't know where his parents live, if it's like a small neighborhood or something or what, but a lot of times if they're on a well, it'll just smell like different chemicals from the well water or something.
Right.
But yeah, I grew up right by Lake Somerville in Brenham, and so they have some kind of plant there, and they've actually gone back and connected. Some news article a couple years ago was reading how they've connected the plant's waste to the increase in breast cancer in the area.
Really?
It's very interesting to hear, but not surprising, unfortunately.
I'd actually read a similar study on, the folks in the Permian Basin, the Midland, Odessa area, that pretty much all the fracking chemicals or whatever that they're pumping down there is of course, all that's going to get into the water table. That's common sense, but that the same sort of deal, that there's a lot more like, what all the anti-vaccine people are claiming now, the autism, the cancer, the birth defects, things like that, and they're, it's more predominant in the areas where there's a lot of fracking. It's kind of weird.
Interesting.
Like some Flint water crisis shit.
I've always wondered that, especially because the last job that I was working special ed, actually at an elementary school, kinder through second. They were some wild ones.
I bet they were awesome, man.
They were really funny, man. They were great. Field trips were the best. I miss those little cats. They were hilarious. But there were some very severe cases of autism, and I've always wondered that. I've never gotten into the science of it or anything, but I'd like to see something deeper into see if we can find an actual cause for that, because it's definitely been increasing over the last couple of decades.
Yeah,
no doubt about that. At least it's more in the public eye, if not anything else. But yeah, I'd like to get some more, factual research and
find a root cause, if you will.
And I'm sure we will one day, and then whoever is causing it's going to pay a lot of money to try to hide those results.
Damn you, Monsanto.
Yeah, man, I don't
Not
know.
talking shit on Monsanto, just talking shit.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of those companies can actually be doing a lot of good for us, too. So
yeah.
Politics is weird, man. I don't
know. Politics are weird. I had somebody ask me the other day who I voted for this presidential election. I just turned around and walked away. I'm not telling y'all who I voted for. That's up to me.
Yeah.
But it's like, why? Like,
I wish there was just a do-right party. It'd be great. But
that would be awesome.
Take a lot less money.
And
to be on
money rules everything around me.
Yeah, for sure. And that's been fun. Around Austin, a lot of people are very politically aware. Even though a lot of them may not actually know what they're talking about.
No, and it's kind of a blueberry in a bowl of tomato soup, if you will. The one blue spot in Texas.
But it's one of the few places that I've been able to go and people talk about things like this on a regular basis. You don't just go out to the bar and hey bro, how much can we drink tonight? Sure, cool. That's awesome and great, but like there's more out there to life than just doing this.
There absolutely, but I've noticed, like especially living in Lubbock the last 6 years and change of my life, that and not talking shit on Lubbock or talking shit on conservatives, I would like to think of myself more conservative than liberal, but the more you get towards like highly dense conservative areas, the less open minds you see, or well, anywhere you go. If an area is like mainly conservative or like mainly liberal, like everybody has their point of view, and there's not so much acceptance and listening versus that. Like when I was on the road, on the air with the Red Dirt Rebel, I was doing the morning show, and there was some article about designer, quote unquote, designer babies. How like now you can, if you've got the money, you can like test tube a baby and pick the hair color and the eye color and things like that. And all I said was like, that's a really cool idea. Like that's a cool concept. Like, 100 years ago, we'd have never thought about doing that. And you wouldn't believe the shit I got called. Like people were typing in on the app wall, calling me this and that. And I'm just like, dude, I just think it's cool, man.
I think it's definitely on both sides.
Absolutely.
That's why I try not to be... I feel like I'm pretty laid back with most folks. Like when it comes to business, I've got a certain way that I want things to happen. But
right.
When people live their life, man, let them do their thing. Just don't pollute my river. But,
okay.
Other than that,
hold on. Can you make that a T-shirt?
Yeah. Let's talk about T-shirt ideas in a minute. We actually have a really great one that we're gonna do.
Awesome.
But I don't know, man. I don't necessarily consider myself one side or the other, which this is what everybody says, but I like to hear what everybody has to say.
Right.
I feel like the reason a lot of times when you say you go into a conservative place or a super liberal place and they have closed minds is because they've probably been arguing with people on the far opposite end
for a long time.
So usually, we've got this wingspan here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got super far left, super far right.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, those are the two people that are arguing with each other, right?
Right.
They're on the far ends.
Well, if you look at a bird like this, the brain's in the middle.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a great point. And it's the people towards the inside, we just kind of get along and do our thing for the most part.
Right.
But we don't necessarily have all the money. I don't know.
Nah.
So whenever you have just the outsides really fighting with each other, I think things are a lot more heated than they should be. So if we could use a little more common sense and learn from other countries as well, instead of just thinking that, don't get me wrong, America is the greatest in the world.
Right.
But we could definitely learn a lot of things from other people and from history.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely, man. I think it's, I'm not going political or making a point here or anything, but, I believe it was back in the 40s or the 50s or the 60s, somewhere, early 19 whatevers, that there was a law passed that, like, past Confederate soldiers were to be considered, and are still considered American soldiers, not Confederate soldiers, not traitors, not this, not that, whatever. So all these people run around and tearing down monuments and kicking over gravestones and spray painting shit. You're doing that to American soldiers. Yeah. Why don't you just go do that in Arlington? But they ain't got the balls to do that kind of stuff, man. Everybody wants to pick a wrong point. It's weird, man.
Just tell all those people to go get a job, because I don't know where they're finding all this spare time to do all this stupid crap. If you would just find something that you love and go work towards it instead of working getting something that you hate, you'd be surprised how much better life works out for you.
Dude, you get a job, dog, and a girlfriend, you're not gonna have much free time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure. I mean, try it. If anybody wants a dog sit Hayes for a weekend, holler at me.
Well, if you're ever stopping through here on the way somewhere, for real, you can leave him with me, man.
Yeah, he's really well behaved with other ones, but with other people and new people, because he's he doesn't want to test his boundaries.
Yeah, he was a little skittish with me when I met y'all at the van a minute ago, and now he's probably chewing on my shoe, which is okay. I've got like 3 pairs of that pair of shoes.
He's got it behind him now. That's old news. Now he's finally calmed down. 45 minutes into this, whatever.
It's all good in the hood, man. Of course, where you got, tomorrow is Father's Day,
Yes.
And then the day after will be Monday. That week, what all shows you got going on? Where you headed?
We are just playing one show next week. We're playing in Bryan at Lakeside Ice House with Hayes Carl, which will be really awesome.
Dude, he puts on I'm assuming that's who you named Hayes after, correct?
That is who I named Hayes after. So
are you going to bring him to the show and make them take like a selfie together and be like,
I'm
Hayes
sure
and Hayes?
be awesome.
That would be awesome.
So I named him Hayes because when I picked Hayes up, I was in Fort Worth at Ben Ryan's house. I played a show the night before.
Right on.
Woke up in the morning, and I'd been looking for another heeler pup because I used to have one, and she was the best dog in the world. And this little guy just happened to be online. Somebody had found him on the side of the road, and he looked so poor and helpless. I have this photo of him from when he was like a month old, and he's all like baby chubby still.
Oh.
Yeah. And I got there, and he was just super happy and like excited to see everybody with the big old puppy eyes. Before he knew anything in the world was bad, you know.
Right.
And
so innocent and sweet.
Oh my God. So, anyways, I got him, and the guy that gave him to me was an older guy, and he didn't want to really give him up, but he knew that his wife wanted him to. So, anyways, we get in the car and crank on the stereo, and the first song that came on was "Hard Out Here" by Hayes Carl. So I was like, well, that's your new name.
Right.
You're now called Hayes. So he's yeah. I think he looks like a Hayes though.
Yeah, I think it's pretty fitting. Of course, I think it's awesome that you said you were at Ben Ryan's house because Ben Ryan's dog's name is Wiley. After Ray Wiley Hubbard.
Yeah,
which I think is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I didn't even think
Coincidence?
about that.
I think not.
Yeah. Ben's been a good buddy of mine for a couple of years, man. He's one of the true souls that'll never lead you wrong. So.
Yeah, no, he's I lived in Fort Worth for a very, very short amount of time. I took a job working with a magazine out of there, and just wound up kicking it with Ben a lot. Ben nice. and when Cyrus James lived in the area,
yeah,
I kicked it with those two all the time, and it good folks just all the way through. I still love the hell out of Ben. Ben, if you're catching the podcast at all, I really hope you check this out, man. But if I'm ever in Fort Worth, I'll hit you up. Call me, But boom roasted, dude. And that beard though, man. I of course you've got the amazingly gorgeous long hair. I tried to grow mine out, and then I got really sick of it. But I don't have the balls to grow a beard. I just don't. I can't do it.
I can't grow a beard. That's why I usually shave every 2 weeks as it is. But one day my dad tells me it'll come in. I'm still waiting. Maybe when I'm 50.
It's thick enough. It's just if it gets long enough for me to like fuck with it at all, really, because my hair grows in like 6-7 different directions, and so like I'll have like one patch that just like sticks straight out, and then I can't quit fucking with it, and I'm leaving it alone.
On that note, we're gonna take a short break for our beard sponsor. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
yeah, but anyway, yeah, Ben's a good dude. There's a lot of great people in Fort Worth, and I see a lot of them here in Stephenville too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. Other than, like you said, you're up in Fort Worth. Where is that kind of one of the other places you hang out when you're not in Austin? Because I know you're traveling a lot doing gigs and shit, but like when you leave town to go kick it somewhere, not for a gig, when you're just going out of town to go, where you go?
Honestly, generally where I live, close to New Braunfels is great. New Braunfels and San Marcos
it's the way to go.
It's where I want to be, and I'll go see my folks a lot of times down in Victoria and Port O'Connor. I'll go to Fort Worth, hang out with some friends, do that whole thing, but I would honestly rather work. I feel really guilty when I go. I don't really like vacations. I like to go work, and I like to, because I love what I do.
Right.
And I don't necessarily love sending emails to get shows and things like that. That's tough.
Right.
But that produces the fruit that I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. I really do enjoy going to see my parents and going fishing and playing softball with my dad and stuff. If I can get into a slow pitch game. But other than that, New Braunfels and San Marcos is so beautiful that I don't know if I'll ever leave that general, Texas Hill Country area.
Mm-hmm.
Canyon Lake, just amazing, dude.
I don't know, moving down here from the flatlands of West Texas and the Llano Estacado.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, the roads aren't flat and straight. There's trees. Yeah. What is this, a hill? Is it a body of water that's not, road flooding from the half-inch of rain we got a month ago?
There's not much dust down here either.
Dude, and the wind? There's no wind here. It's so weird, man.
Yeah.
I'm starting to like this, Central Texas hill country-ish area. I don't know really where you would classify where Stephenville is, but like there's just this whole south of I-20 area. I dig it.
Yeah, it's definitely a really cool looking area. I love the drive up here. I used to make the drive from College Station to Stephenville all the time, and it's the countryer version of the southern Texas hill country.
Right on.
But I mean, if you think about it, all the really cool venues, in my mind, not all of them, but a lot of them are down in that area, and southern hill country too. You got Sam's Burger Joint in San Antonio, Green Hall, Cheatham Street. River Road Ice House is really cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of awesome venues. There's a place called Aztec Theater in San Antonio that I've actually just got to see Tesla at with my dad.
Really?
And
that's awesome.
The inside of it is like an Aztec pyramid. So it's got like carvings in the walls with light up eyes and things. And it's not.
So it's like what was that show we watched when we were kids? Legends of the Hidden Temple.
I guess, yeah.
You remember that the one on Nickelodeon that was they had the talking Olmec face or whatever.
It reminds me of whenever you see like the old Batmans and they're at the these big, elegant like parties and things like that.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like on the inside of this place. But they have rock shows, so
that's awesome.
There's some really cool things down there, dude. It's a lot of fun, and it's not all like Texas country. There's a lot of metal, which is rad. So.
Who what's probably one of your favorite metal bands? What are you jamming to when you need a headbang?
Dude, I honestly listen to a lot of older stuff, so I listen. Everybody went through the stages, So I grew up on Megadeth and Iron Maiden, and so I still, if I'm gonna listen to something harder, usually it's those guys. But then whenever I was in junior high, I loved like Under Oath and the Almost, which was the same guy, Aaron Gillespie, I think. Listen to some Seosin. I know that's definitely not metal, but I went from like listening to like metal stuff growing up to kind of going into that, and then I found Cross Canadian Ragweed, which was like a country version, but it's still rock and roll as shit.
Yeah, there's dude, rock and roll for sure.
So I don't necessarily have a exact genre that I love, because I'll play a Ryan Adams song, and then some of his softer stuff, and then I'll throw on an Iron Maiden tune or Megadeth. Those guys are so awesome, and it's really cool to go see those older guitar players that are 60 years old and still shredding it up.
Yeah,
like they were 25.
It's like there's a chance.
Yeah. Well, it just makes me want to work harder, honestly. To see those guys still doing what they want to do at that age. So I mean, who could? What's more of a dream? I mean, it depends on your perspective, but like the guys in Iron Maiden, they have their own jets, they have their own beer label.
Yeah.
They have all these side endeavors that are not just strictly music. That they are making money off of that are other businesses. And I'm not. Okay, so a bad example is Bret Michaels. I know every rose has its thorn or whatever, but
dude,
the guy's putting out dog toys now.
Yeah.
So I didn't buy his.
He also has his own line on Overstock.com for the record.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so he's definitely reaching out and trying to do more than just music.
Yeah, I may or may not have been stage crew at Billy Bob's one night when he played there, and I also may or may not have broke the kick pedal for the bass drum.
Oh my god.
Well, yeah, well,
I'm sure they had
whatever. There was a really cute French bulldog on the back of his trailer, what was wrapped in all of his, endeavors.
Yeah, that's funny, man. I saw the square on the back of Billy Bob's where they had all signed it. We were there for TXRDR last week, and I got to see like the square that said Bret Michaels, and they literally had written "Every rose has its thorn." That's pretty funny.
I don't know whether to like clap because that's epic or just kind of like shake my head a little bit.
That's why I got all these tattoos of roses, is because of Bret Michaels. I'm just fucking.
I was about to say, for real, man.
No.
So, but for real, tell us the story behind your ink, man. Why'd you get the roses?
Okay, so actually, the guy that does them for me now is actually Houston Baker in Stephenville.
Okay.
He's the guy that I go to for tattoos. But I started getting tattoos. I got my first one when I was like 15 or 16. So I wasn't old enough to legally get one.
Right.
But I knew a guy.
But it happens.
That used to work for a tattoo parlor. So I was like, I'm going to go buy these needles, and you're going to give me a tattoo. And I show up to his house, which I thought was like a great residential property.
Yeah.
And it was actually a trailer house with foil in the windows. But I was like...
That's such a fire hazard.
I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this thing. Like, I have to get this tattoo. So I got this one on my side, and it's pretty funny. I don't know. It's a Celtic cross with wings. And I got him to do that, and then I have 1 John 4:8 right here, just a little piece of it. And I laugh and look back on that story, because I was like sneaking around when I was 16, just got my license.
Right.
And I was like, I'm going to go get this tattoo, right?
And then you make sure to spend the next 2 years of your life with a shirt on constantly.
Well, no, my parents figured out about it. So this is another funny side story. But I told my dad. My dad is really cool. He's rock and roll as you can get, but he's also a Baptist pastor. And he didn't have any tattoos at the time. So I got this tattoo on my side, and I was like, I had to tell him, because my dad's my best friend.
Right.
So I texted him, and I was like, hey, Dad, check your email, because Mom checks his phone all the time. Like,
yeah.
They always check. They're old people, so they check each other's phones. So I'm like, Dad, look at your email. Like, wanted to show you something. Like, be open-minded. And my dad's first thought was like, what is he gonna tell me? Did he get a ticket for something? Is he gay? Is he in jail? What is going on here? And he opened the email, and my mom was right there. They were like laying in bed to go into bed or something. And she was like, "Is that a tattoo?" And I was like visiting one of my friends that weekend. I just happened to make it happen. But anyways, yeah, I got that when I was way too young. So like our high school yearbook picture, when everybody's standing out in the open, I'm actually like pulling up my shirt, and everybody's like pointing at this tattoos.
That's
I was way
awesome.
cooler than I am now. But then I started getting. I have this guitar. It was the first guitar that I ever got from my dad. That's on my arm. And then I just have roses for different people in my life. This is like a leukemia ribbon for my grandma Janice. I consider this one from my dad because he, like, every time I play guitar, I see this, and he's really the one that got me into music.
Does your dad play, or did he?
He did. Yeah, he did a little bit in the church growing up, but he never really got super into it. Never toured in the band or anything.
Right on.
So he's definitely passed on some gear at the beginning, and then now it seems like every time I get a new guitar, he's like, "Well, do you have an old one that you can get rid of to put at the house?"
Nice.
I'm like, "All right, cool, whatever." But yeah, I got one from my mom's grandma, my sister. I just get different roses for like the major important people in my life, and I like to customize them a little bit just as a memory of them, even though they're all still here, which is awesome. But I just like to think about them that way. So I don't know. Maybe one day I'll get something other than roses. And I've always been such a fan of like the old school roses and guitars and like those old rock and rollers. They look so cool. Whatever. It's like, if you think about it, so whenever they were in their late teens and early 20s, they were like the only ones with tattoos because it was so frowned upon.
Yeah. And
now it's such a common thing.
I'm sure there's more people with tattoos than without tattoos in our age group now.
Yeah, I'm sure, and which is awesome to think that people have become that open-minded about it, and it's kind of a free spirit thing. But those guys were so cool. Whenever I was little growing up, to get those rock and rollers, like old school roses, which is why I like the classic look. And Houston Baker here in Stephenville is really good at that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens next. I think we're working on a background to go behind it, and then I'll probably wrap something around to my chest, and kind of happens whenever.
Well, rock and roll, man. We both got. Of course, you've got your show here tonight.
Yeah.
And were you guys gonna eat dinner beforehand? Because I know y'all ate there, but are you gonna eat before the show or not so much? Maybe.
I don't ever eat before a show just because it's really hard for me to sing on a full stomach. So I usually, honestly, I don't even drink beer before most shows, but I figured I'd have a beer since I was here.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know where the guys will want to eat. They might end up sliding over to Heart 8, I would assume.
Probably.
So,
rock and roll, man. Well, you want to go ahead and wrap this up here in a minute? You game?
Yeah, dude.
Right on. Dude, tell us where we can find your music, where to find you on social media, where you're going to be playing next, shoe size, all the cool, important things.
Cool. My shoe size varies on how much Hayes has chewed my shoes up. Just kidding. He usually doesn't chew shoes. But, yeah, if you just go to austinmeade.com, it's Meade, you can find it all. And, man, we'll be in Bryan, and then we're heading to St. Louis for a bit. And then we'll be back. We'll be back in San Angelo in August. We're doing Turkey Fest in Cuero in October, and Blue Light in October in Lubbock. And there are a lot of dates that I'll be filling in here and confirming pretty soon. San Antonio is going to be a lot of fun with Joe Ely. And, yeah, dude, I don't know. We just got an online store up, so all of our new merch will be up on there. We're about to do a shirt. All the guys in the band have really long hair.
Yeah.
And so we're going to get this guy to design just outline of our faces with possibly, like, Shane has glasses, so he'll have glasses on. And it'll be our 4 faces, and it's just going to be Texas hair country.
Dude.
So, yeah, because we got these hats made that say, we just made up this feed store thing. It says Meade, Feed and Seed, Texas Hill Country. So now we're going to have shirts that are just for Texas hair country.
Texas hair country. I did that. Y'all be on the lookout for some Texas hair country.
It's not even country, but we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Dude, rock and roll. And of course, y'all listen out there. Make sure to catch Austin Meade and any band that you are a fan of live. Support local, independent, awesome music, man. Make sure to buy merchandise. Make sure to tip your bartenders and high five these musicians, man. They don't all do it for them, man. They do it for the fans too. You know what I mean?
You don't have to tip me. Just come hang out and sit there and listen to some songs. That's all you gotta do.
Rock and roll. Well, Austin, thank you so much for tuning in with us, man.
Dude,
totally loved having you on here, and looking forward to your show tonight, man.
Yeah, man. See you soon.
Yes, sir.